If you're pruning, there's one type of pruning that's rarely discussed. Pruning for access. You see here, this isn't great access. I mean, there's branches all the way in. That's what we're gonna look at. Accessing your fruit trees, your trees that you're about to prune. Let's go. So this aisle here has got terrible access. I mean, we can't barely get in here. Certainly can't get in here to do any spraying. You gotta weave your way around the trees. That is not optimal. That's not the goal. The goal is like this. You can see all the way down the row. And you say, well, I don't have rows of trees. I just have 1 or 2 or 5, or with my geese, I just have a few trees. But you still will need to access them some way. How are you gonna get by them when it comes time to harvest? How are you gonna get between the trees? Access is important, and don't underestimate it. So what we've been doing these last few days is just clearing, and it's not the pruning, it's not the final pruning of these trees, it's really just giving us a way to get in here to actually do some pruning. So what's your access need? What do you need to access with? Is it just to walk by? Then you may need a lot less. We need to get through with a tractor, so we don't want to be scratching through these branches coming through. It's not so much for the tractor, it's really for the branches that then get broken and don't get pruned basically where we would like them to be pruned. Think of what you need. That's the goal. How are you accessing? Are you just walking around? Are you getting in with any equipment? That's the goal, and prune according to that goal. So we're really looking at, well, if we just want to get by here, you could start slowly and say, does that make a difference? Oh yeah. Does this make a difference? Oh yeah. Does that make a difference? Oh yeah. And you can go branch by branch, or you can focus on the big branches and say, you know what? We could take this big one here, and this isn't the right tool for it, but I'm just wanting to show you. Oh yeah, that makes a big difference. So we're trying to go through, always thinking, how can I make the least cuts and get the best results? So 80-20, 80% of the cuts you make, cut, will actually give you 20% of the results. 20% of the cuts you make will give you 80% of the results. Focus on those 20. Look at your tree, look at your shrub, and say, is there one branch I could take off? Is there 2 that will solve my access problem? And focus on those. Another thing to save you time in the long run, certainly next spring, is as you cut the branches, if you are going to be shredding them, in our case, put them in the middle of the aisles so that you don't have to come back and move them. The geese are happy to be out today, out and getting green grass. Even the chickens out still. You may be thinking, that's kind of inefficient. You're pruning now, and you'll have to come back and prune later. And yes, some of these branches will be a bit in the way when we prune. The difference is this is a quick pruning. I mean, we're not doing a lot. Here's one big cut. There was one branch, 80-20. That was one branch that pretty well solved this tree's overbearing habit. So we're coming in, and this is, we do several rows in just a few hours. So we're trying to just give us access so that we can then come in and prune the rest. It's not meant to be a final pruning. You can do it, go ahead. If you don't have that many trees, do it all in one go. But in our case, this just makes it so much simpler to have a proper access then when it comes time to actually coming in and pruning these trees. The idea is you want to see all the way down the aisle, and you have to think access, yes, for us to prune, yes, for us to access, but we run a U-pick. And the difference for access is not just access, it's also for safety and visibility. So that when we have people come they go, ooh, I don't know, do I really want to pick down here? This one isn't so bad. But some of these rows, you barely see down here. And that's now with no leaves. Put some leaves on and you realize I can't even see down this aisle. Do I really want to go pick? So it's a safety issue a little bit. Yeah, I really can't see down here. These need to be done. Another thing to keep in mind, do you have to prune it? I say pruning for access. I really mean clearing access. Here's a good example. This pear tree has got these two branches. See this one and this big one, which are really, actually they're touching the tree on the other aisle. So this will definitely not be an access that we could use. So you think, oh, yeah, and you have to prune them. Maybe not. There is one other technique, and it's using these training wires. And I show you how to do this, how to make them, and how to train the trees properly in the pruning course. Go check it out. Go at least see the first video. And so this branch is a great candidate. It's a nice branch. It's got loads of fruit spurs, but do I have to actually prune it? No, I can train it out of the way. And that just means taking my training wire, hooking the branch on, clearing, and you see it's pruning. No, it's clearing. Gotta move it a little further down. Clear it out of the way. And now, just train it to another branch, in this case, the tree next to it. And now I got a nice branch horizontally placed. See all that in the pruning course, but horizontal in the case of a pear, and this will be fruitful. I didn't cut it. I'll get fruit out of it, and it's out of the way. See, now it's clear. This one, however, I will have to cut it out. It's coming straight out. And go see that quick and dirty. Go check out the pruning course, and you'll see, start with those 3 steps. And this is selecting your branches. Go check it out. Get started. It's coming to pruning season, and that's a great time to be outside. It's getting some work done that needs to be done, but it's enjoyable to get outside. So pruning for access, part of the pruning year, and get yours done. Let me know if this was helpful. Go check out the pruning course, and I'll see you on the next video.